Steelers Nation, I am excited about this one, man. I'm excited, all right. Omar Khan, he's supposed to be chilling. Supposed to be down there, owners meetings, doing all that important stuff. You know, we see rules getting changed and all type of, things coming out of that Orlando situation. But, Omar is not allowing that to distract him from the fact that he still needed some roster cooking, all right? So hit that like button one time for the coach, and don't forget to subscribe because Omar Khan went out and had a very underrated signing to me, man. Cordarrelle Patterson. Yeah, four-time Pro Bowler, four-time All-Pro, one-time Super Bowl champ, all-world kickoff return man, and it's turned into a pretty productive hybrid running back as well, man. But we just signed him to a 2-year deal worth up to $6 million. Don't have the details in terms of the guarantees and stuff like that just yet. But in terms of Cordarrelle Patterson and why I am excited about this signing, well, number one, we're talking about bringing in a veteran guy. This guy's been in the league for a decade plus. He understands how to play the game. He's also a guy that has had various levels of success, but has also experienced some failure in this league. So when you're talking about the experience and leadership that player provides in terms of Cordarrelle, that's another added element that I really like about Cordarrelle. Now, in terms of what is he good at? Well, like I said, man, in terms of kickoff return tape, since Devin Hester, he's been the guy. He's been the main guy consistently running back kicks for touchdowns. Big reason why he's been All-Pro multiple times, and it's a big reason why he has also been able to maintain his NFL life because worst case, you throw him back there as a return man, and that is dangerous. Now, with the new kickoff rules getting changed as well, let's see how impactful that could be for him. Potentially getting a couple more returns out of him than what we saw last year when he was down in Atlanta. Now, when you're talking about Cordarrelle in the backfield, this is the part that is very unique about his game. Because if you go back a couple of seasons, actually when he first signed with Atlanta from Chicago, he was one of those guys that we kind of were talking about, right? This is around the same time we drafted Najee Harris. We said, man, we're looking for, type of running back, man. Do we want to go first round or are we anti-first round? So that's what we're looking at, some free agency stuff. And Cordarrelle, man, he's one of those guys that a former wide receiver, 6'2", 220 though, and he's playing running back. And when I tell you, he has done a really good job of just changing his game, right? Going from trying to play wide receiver to truly being a running back, man. When I tell you he's running downhill, he runs downhill. Now, he's not the physical bruiser in the sense of a Najee Harris, but what he does do is he can hurt you in space because he is still very athletic for the position along with his size. Then the other way that he's utilized out that backfield is as a receiver. All right, you think about, your typical running back being the guy that you're trying to throw the ball to, and you got linebackers and they already struggle with them to an extent. Cordarrelle Patterson was on a different level at times, and that's a big reason why in Atlanta he had the success that he had those first 2 seasons. You look at him on the ground, over 600 plus in both of those seasons. He had another year where he had around 550 in terms of receiving yards to go with it. So when you think about those 2 elements, that was a big reason why the Falcons paid him what they paid him, and ultimately why they were trying to continue to build with him. Now, this last season, absolute worst year for him, worst season in Atlanta, all across the board. But what I will say is this as a caveat: the quarterback situation had a big part to do with it. So when you think about everything that was going on from a quarterbacking standpoint, along with the fact that we know Arthur Smith was the head coach down there. We're not saying that Arthur Smith was a great head coach. We said we like him as a coordinator. Well, that was also part of the dynamic, man, in terms of just everything being shipped out. But what I do like is the familiarity that Cordarrelle has with Arthur Smith, because Cordarrelle had some of his best seasons as a hybrid running back receiver type situation he got going on, almost like a Deebo Samuel type. But he had those best years under Arthur Smith down there in Atlanta those first 2 seasons, man. So that's the part where I'm really intrigued to see, can we tap back into some of that magic? Because that version down in Atlanta in the first 2 years was tough to deal with, man. Running that rock, catching out the backfield, and returning kicks. That's the type of player that he is capable of being. And me personally, I think that he still has that left in him. Now, we're not paying him to be a starter here. That's the beauty of it, right? When you talk about, you got Najee Harris, he's still the guy. You talk about Jalen Warren, that's still going to give you that lightning, right? But then you got Cordarrelle, who's honestly, to me, that mix of both of them dudes. He has the size like a Najee, but he plays more with the speed element like a Jalen Warren. So when we're just adding another person into that fold, that's some more competition in that backfield. That's going to make those guys have to keep elevating their game because we don't want no complacency. And that's been the theme with the way Omar Khan, Coach T, and Mr. Rooney have constructed this roster, right? Competition, 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 man. And to me personally, I think that's going to be a huge asset for the squad this upcoming season, man. But those are my initial thoughts on Cordarrelle Patterson. Not only, like I said, does he take care of adding competition to the backfield, adding a veteran presence on offense and production, you also got your daggone kick returner locked in. I thought Godwin and Gabuke did a good job last year, man, provided a spark, even showed some heads up play, right? In terms of, drawing the flag and stuff like that on the one return where he's laying out of bounds and everything. But Cordarrelle Patterson, man, this is a lot more proven, a lot more productive. And just from an NFL all-time standpoint, that's the conversations that, Cordarrelle Patterson is in as a kickoff return guy. So, like I said, a lot of positivity on this. But like I said, man, we do understand. He did have a down year last year. He is going to be 33. He is 33 right now, all right? So let me know your thoughts on everything, though. Let me know your thoughts on what you expect to see from Cordarrelle this season and what you think his role will be with Arthur Smith in this offense, all right? But either way, I appreciate you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button one more time for the coach and subscribe on the way out. But until next time, baby, peace.